Hello everyone. In this session, we will understand the actual logic behind designing a microprogrammed control unit. In the previous session, we discussed that when we want to design a microprogrammed control unit, we need to obtain the control memory, which is a ROM, right? Now, let us understand how this ROM is going to be designed. After which you are going to understand the complete logic behind the microprogrammed control unit, which is very easy to understand. For that, let us take the help of a high-level language program. Being a programmer, you are going to write your program in some high-level language, right? So, let us say there is a program. A program is a set of instructions, right? Now, when you want to execute these instructions, this corresponding program or instruction should be translated into the corresponding machine language instructions, because high-level language instructions cannot be directly executed by the CPU. So what we do is we will convert them into the machine language instructions. Then the machine language instructions gets executed, thereby your program gets executed, right? So everybody knew till this part. But later, if you actually can focus, understand, we will understand the actual logic behind designing the control unit. Here, let us understand carefully. If you want to execute one machine language instruction, you do require one micro routine or micro program. Either way you call it. Either way you call it. So, if you want to execute a single machine language instruction, you do require a micro program or in the micro routine, which is inside the control unit, needed to be executed. When you execute this micro routine or a micro program, then one machine language instruction gets executed. Understand carefully. Every machine language instruction has an opcode, right? This opcode could be either addition or subtraction or anything which is as supported as by the system. You know, our system has 25 opcodes. Just to have a quick recap, I do have 7 memory reference instructions and 7 memory reference instructions and 12 register reference instructions and 6 IO instructions. In the computer system that we are designing right from the beginning of the computer architecture, we do have 7 memory reference instructions such as AND, add, load, store. 12 register reference instructions such as CLA, CLE, or HLT. Several IO instructions, 6 IO instructions such as IN, OUT. So every time when you execute a machine language instruction, of course, it includes one of the opcodes from the set of opcodes that are supported by our computer system. When one of these opcodes are executed, corresponding operation is needed to be performed. When the operation is needed to be performed, understand carefully, the control unit should be able to execute the corresponding micro routine. For an example, if the current instruction has an opcode that is addition, in order to perform this addition, there has to be a micro routine, the corresponding micro routine for addition within the control unit needed to be executed. So when the micro routine gets executed, corresponding addition instruction gets performed. This is what the job of the control unit. But still, it is not over. Every micro program, of course, is a collection of micro instructions. What is the micro instructions? A set of micro instructions is a micro program. You know that a set of instructions is just nothing but a program. Similarly, if you want to execute a micro routine, this micro routine has to be a collection of a few micro instructions. Then every micro instruction has a collection of micro operations that are needed to be performed. Now let us understand carefully. You do have a program. Can you execute it directly? No. If you want to execute a program, this program must get converted into machine language instructions. each and every machine language instruction, in order to execute, there has to be a corresponding micro routine or a micro program within the control unit needed to be executed. Every micro routine is a collection of micro instructions. Every micro instruction has a collection of micro operations. So a set of micro operations gets executed, one micro instruction gets executed, a set of micro instructions gets executed, a micro routine gets executed, right? Then after which our program will get executed. Set of machine language instruction gets executed, then our program will get executed. This is the relationship between the actual program to the micro operation. Now we need to design a control unit in which all the routines are stored in the form of micro routines, meaning we are not using the hardware logic at all. Rather, we are using the micro programmed logic. Now we need to design all these routines, after which our control unit gets designed. Now, you know that if you want to design a micro programmed control unit, we need to have a ROM, right? I have collected a ROM. You know that every memory has a specific size. Let us say in our case, our ROM is equal to 128 words, meaning in our ROM there are 128 locations. Each location is going to specify one micro instruction. Okay. Now, there are a total of 128 micro instructions. And one micro routine, let us understand, is equal to 4 micro instructions. Let us understand, this total ROM has been divided into several micro routines. Each routine has 4 micro instructions. So the total number of routines in our ROM is 128 by 4, that is 32, rather 64. Total, there are a total of 64 routines. Okay. Now each routine is equal to 4 micro instructions. And each and every instructions can specify several micro operations. Let us see how does it go. You know what is the control unit? The control unit is going to initiate a sequence of micro operations. There are two major types of control units. One is hardwired control unit, which is designed by using the hardwired logic such as decoders, encoders, or other digital circuits, which are collected from the class of, which are collected actually from the class of combinational circuits. We don't use the sequential circuits here. Now, what is the microprogrammed control unit? The microprogrammed control unit is going to be designed by using a control memory, and the control memory is programmed to initiate the required sequence of micro operations. The basic advantage and disadvantage with the hardwired control unit is, of course, the operation will be fast, but it cannot be updated at all. That is, the design cannot be changed. Tomorrow, if you want to update your control unit, that is not possible in the hardwired control unit case. But in the microprogrammed control unit, though it is quite slower than the hardwired control unit, nevertheless, it can be updated. So, in the advanced computer system, we do prefer microprogrammed control unit than hardwired control unit. Okay. Now, what is control word? You have already witnessed a micro instruction. What is a micro instruction? Micro instruction is a part of a micro routine. One micro routine is equal to 4 micro instructions. One micro instruction is called control word. One control word. Okay. Now, the micro instruction specifies one or more micro operation. You know that every micro instruction rather contains one or more micro operations. What is a micro program? Micro program is a sequence of micro operations. There are two ways of, going for this micro program. One is dynamic microprogramming and one more is static microprogramming. In the dynamic microprogramming, a RAM can be used for writing, and a microprogram is loaded initially from an auxiliary memory such as a magnetic disk. But in a static microprogramming, control words in ROM are made permanent during the hardware production. In the dynamic microprogramming, we are going to use a RAM. That is, our control unit is designed by using a RAM, not ROM. What is RAM? RAM is the moment you lose the power, everything will be erased from the RAM. But In the static microprogramming, we are going to use a ROM. Okay, this ROM, when you design, all the programs must be stored already. The stored programs can never be erased. So obviously, the control words in the ROM are made permanent, definitely, the moment you design them. Okay, this can never be erased at all. So, you know that there is a control memory. The system which contains a microprogrammed control unit also has an additional memory which is called a control memory. In addition to our regular main memory. Regular main memory is of just RAM and ROM. But in addition to that, we also do have some memory called control memory, which is ROM in our case. We are not going for dynamic microprogramming, rather, we are going for static microprogramming. So, in addition to this main memory, we also do have something called control memory for storing the microprograms or micro instructions. Now, let us discuss the basic components of our control unit. The first part is the control memory, that is our ROM. The second part is something called control address register. When you want to design a microprogrammed control unit, these essential components you can observe within our microprogrammed control unit. The control address register, we will understand what is this control address register later. But now just understand what are the entities that are required. The third one is a sequencer. Sequencer is also called a next address generator. And the fourth one is something called the control data register. So there has to be 4 blocks within the control unit. First block, second block, third block, and fourth block. Let us say this is sequencer. We'll understand what is sequencer, but sequencer, understand, can also be called as next address generator. Next instructions, next micro instructions address will be generated by the sequencer. Okay, after which there is something called CAR. What is CAR? Control address register. You know that system has an address register in which the memory address will be stored. When system address register specifies a memory address in which the current instruction is stored, the control address register within the control unit is going to specify the current micro instructions address that is needed to be executed right now. That is, the control address register is going to hold the current micro instructions address that has to be fetched from the control memory. Let us say this is our ROM, can also be called as the control memory. From the control memory, we are going to fetch the current micro instruction. The current micro instruction which has been fetched will be sent to the control data register. Our total microprogrammed control unit has these 4 essential parts. One is next address generator. Let us understand right now. Currently, I am executing 23rd instruction, 23rd micro instruction. Now it is not regular instruction. Our main memory specified already the current machine language instruction that is needed to be executed. In order to execute that current machine language instruction, in the control unit, we located a specific routine, which is, let us say, is starting from 22. Let us say 22, 23, 24, 25. When this routine gets executed, the current machine language instruction gets executed. Immediately, it gets located to 22. So now, after executing 22nd micro instruction, we need to execute 23rd micro instruction, right? Our next address generator is going to find out the next micro instructions address that it has to be executed, which is called a sequencer. Then the address that has to be, the address that was found out or identified by the sequencer will get transferred to the control address register. Control address register stores the current instructions address that is needed to be executed right now. Let us say now 23. The address which is in the control address register will get located in the control memory. In the control memory, under this location, we do have a micro instruction. The micro instruction for execution will get transferred to the control data register. Now, you understand specifically the usage of each and every component within the control unit. Control memory is a part of the control unit. Control address register specifies the address of the micro instruction that is needed to be executed. A sequencer, which is also called next address generator, finds out the next address that has to be executed, determines the address sequence that is read from the control memory. Next address of the next micro instruction can be specified several ways depending on the sequencer inputs. Not only in one way, the sequencer is going to find out the next address in several ways. For this, let us get back to our instruction execution. Let us go to regular main memory. After 23, most of the times we are going to execute 24. But it is not always guaranteed that a 24 instruction will definitely get executed right after 23. What if there is a branch, right? If 23 is a branch instruction, then we will go to the branch location. Let us say 23 is calling 450th address. Now, rather than executing 24, we are going to 450th address for the execution, right? Similarly, even in the microprogrammed control unit, within the control memory, right after the current instruction, let us say the current instruction is 24. After 24, it is not guaranteed that 25 will always get executed. Let us say 24 is an end of a routine. Let us say in between 20 to 24, one micro routine is placed. Currently, I need to execute add instruction, which is a machine language instruction. Add has been mapped to the 20th address. That is, the base address of the add within the control memory is 20, meaning 20 to 24 has add micro routine. In between 20 to 24, if you execute every micro instruction, then addition operation gets performed. If it is performed, then the current machine language instruction has already been executed. Now we don't execute 25, right? Then we go for the next instruction. If the next instruction is end may get mapped to 30. So sometimes it is the next micro instruction, sometimes it is not. Sequencer is going to find out what is the next micro instruction in the sequence that is going to get executed. The control data register, you have seen that it holds a micro instruction read from the control memory. Okay, allows the execution of the micro operation specified by the control word simultaneously with the generation of the next micro instruction. I have shown you something very important. That is, this is sequencer, this is control address register, this is our control memory, this is our control data register. As the address register is collecting the next address, control data register is holding, rather executing simultaneously the current instruction that is needed to be executed. Now we are talking only about the micro instructions. As both are performing their operations in parallel, these two registers are called pipeline registers. When an operation is being performed parallelly with another one, then it is called pipelining. So these two registers, now understand what is this carefully. Address register holds the current micro instruction that is needed to be specified. The moment it is located, immediately it calculates, rather it receives the next address from the sequencer. But the previous address which is located in the control memory, the instruction will get transferred to the control data register. Now this address register and control data register simultaneously is performing their regular operations. Let us say 23 is held by the address register. The moment address register held 23, it will get located. Under 23, M of 23 will get transferred to the control data register. Now address register receives one more address from the sequencer, that is 24. Now this address register and control data register simultaneously are operating on different data words, rather different elements. This is the reason why these are called pipeline registers, because these are performing their operations simultaneously, not waiting for any other. So these are called pipelining. You'll understand more about pipelining in the actual chapter of pipelining, then you will understand the gist of what we have just discussed right now. This is all about address sequencing. Now, the address sequencing is just done in the sequencer. And a routine, you already know what is the routine, micro instructions that are stored in the control memory. Mapping is, I told you that every time when a specific operation, that is, when a specific machine language instruction is going to get executed, the corresponding opcode needed to be executed. Every opcode has a specific routine. For an example, AND has a micro routine which is starting from the 20th address of the control memory. So for performing every time an AND operation within the control memory, a routine must get executed which is actually starting from 20. So every time when an instruction gets executed, the opcode of the instruction will get mapped to the corresponding location from which that specific routine is getting started. AND is starting from 20. So every time an AND instruction is getting executed, 20th location within the control memory is going to get located, because from the 20th instruction, if you execute 20, 21, 22, 23, AND operation will get performed. Similarly, let us say add. Add has its routine located from 24. Every time you execute add operation, this add operation has its corresponding routine available from 24th location of the control memory. So add will get mapped to 24 and will get mapped to 20. This is called mapping. Instruction code, every instruction code which is called an opcode, has a specific address in the control memory from which the routine will get started. Now, what are the different address sequencing capabilities? The first one is incrementing the control address register. Second one is either unconditional or conditional branching depending on status bits conditions. The third one is a mapping process which has been discussed right now. And the fourth one is a facility for subroutine return. We're going to understand in detail about these address sequencing capabilities in the very next session. Thank you.